lyncher, but he did, and he lasted. I think he lasted about a week and a half.
Hello, hello, hello. Hope you're all keeping safe and well. Welcome back to the West Ham Network. Anton here for another West Ham Daily. Hope everyone is safe. Loads of stuff to talk about, even on the international break. It's not looking good at West Ham just now, but can we turn our fortunes around? And 10 of West Ham United senior players currently have contracts due to expire at the end of this season. Roll the titles. Big shake-up at West Ham happening, isn't there? It just feels a bit odd right now. It's not what we're used to. It's not been an exciting start to the season. There are some positives if you really dig in deep, if you can dissect and take apart some of our performances and some of our players, etc. You know, and if you think about some of the bad decisions that have gone our way, then maybe things could be looking a little bit rosier. I've always anticipated that, you know, when we come back from this international break, if we can get a decent run together, and let's just say, for talking sake, we win 3 on the bounce, and that's 9 points, and we push ourselves up the league, and then we keep performing like we do in Europe, like, things can click. It's just about finding that right formation and that right, just that camaraderie between the squad. And there's been, obviously, I mean, taking ourselves back to last season, at the end of last season, we all knew that this summer was going to be vital. But equally, though, we have to take some form of responsibility to say that we need that transitioning period. I don't want to keep... It's easy for me to sit here and say transition, as if I'm trying to stick up for the West Ham scenario. But it's true. Most things in life need a transition. But the frustrating thing is for West Ham fans is that we're not particularly playing, or players are playing when they don't deserve to play. And that's the frustrating part for us. Now, leave your comments in the comment section. We will engage with them as well. If you are new around here, though, please make sure you do hit that subscribe button. We're on the march towards whatever it is. Hit that thumbs up as well. Hit the bell notification. That will then notify you when our shows do go live. If you're interested in becoming a channel member, hit that join option. Tonight, though, for the third person in the chat, we are relaunching the Gift of the Gab. The Gift of the Gab will be going live at 11 p.m. tonight. Anything goes. Going to be a couple of topics, but it's being hosted by 2 new presenters to the channel. We're delighted to bring them on board. Bert and Ernie, just a little hint, wink, wink. If you're in there, let us know. But please come and join it. You know, this is the whole point of the network. It's giving people a voice, giving you your voice, and giving you your opportunity to come on and speak. And that's really the whole reason why and direction that we want to do, is give you your voice as a West Ham fan as well. So when we spoke to Budgie and Kieran about doing it, we've kind of been in talks about doing it for a little while. So we're going to launch it this Wednesday, tonight, we should say, and come along and support them. 11 o'clock at night. I get some people will be in bed, tucked up, but equally, though, this is a very diverse international West Ham network, so we can tailor into all people from all over the world and give you a reasonable time to watch some West Ham content as well. People will be making appearances, you know, myself, Russ, other people will be making appearances during that time on the Gift of the Gab. I think we're planning on going 11 o'clock every Wednesday. So it's given the West Ham world an opportunity to look at West Ham content. So make sure you do join Budgie and, of course, Kieran, to give them as much support on the channel that you possibly can. I'm going to jump into the chat before I get started on today's show. Happy Amoret, I know you'll be there loud and proud, unless you are going to be sleeping, getting your beauty sleep, of course, so please. But it's good to see you. Ralph, good to see you too. Nothing to do. Oh, talking to each other. Martin's in the house. Good to see you, my friend. Peter, how you doing, my man? Are you going to slag me off today? Let's see what happens. Good afternoon, all, from the man himself, Green Street Elites. Go, make sure you do go and check out, of course, Budgie's channel, Green Street Elites. Don't forget to like and all that good stuff. How is your Spanish coming along? Happy for when you move to Argentina? Well, we'll take a little look at this one. We'll take a little look at Lanzini, as you see in a minute. all talking to each other. Don't see many getting renewed. Fluent Peter. Oh God, it just gets better. Lee, good to see you, my friend. Hope you are well. Keeping safe as always. Jim Ferguson is in the house. They will all leave. They will not want to play in the Championship. Mons 2, happy Mons 2. I'll be gutted if Fabianski is here next season. Toby Sampson's in the house. Irons. Good to see you, my friend. Free the fish. It's looking a little bit cloudy up there, isn't it? Don't worry, that'll get sorted soon. We've only conceded 9. It's a bad dip in form, but if we sack the manager, we're doomed. Toby, I completely agree with you. I am nowhere, not there. The issue I've got is the fact that we found ourselves in this position when I think that things could have been changed. So the problem is, though, when you find yourself in this position, I think you'll probably agree with me, Toby, that, the next 4 or 5 games are vital for West Ham. And if we go on a terrible run of form and we don't pick up any points, then the writings could be on the wall. But we have to wait and see, and fingers crossed we can turn it around. I don't doubt for a second we've got the people in the squad to be able to do it as well. Mi Dios. I watched my first game in 1964. All of this, nothing new. Just ask your dad, Anton. Absolutely, Phil. You're right. And I do listen, and I speak to him a lot about the history of West Ham. And that's why when I brought him on at the weekend, he was nudging me. He was like, take your time, son, to think about what you're going to say, because you don't want to go on and, ramble. I've always tried my best to take time to think about it, but we do commit to doing the show straight after the game. So sometimes your emotions do get the better of yourself as well. Alan, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Erling is sleeping right now. He is. Hi, Happy Amaret. Martin Barrett, late night live chat show. Perfect timing for me. Thank you very much, Martin. You will enjoy it as well. I'll be asking Craig Forrest to join us next week. Don't worry, we'll have loads of people for you as well. Sesame Street joins the West Ham network. There you go. Anthos, thanks, Anton. Let's hope we don't become even slower after the international break. We tend to start badly, and you can probably hear Joey screaming in the background as well. What did I miss? When is the late show? The late show is 11 p.m. this evening. Happy at 11 p.m. this evening. Yeah, right. I am still transitioning after 42 years in Australia. God, don't be saying that. Haley, hope you are well. I'm prepared to adult nap Lanzini and lock him in my bedroom. There you go. Cresswell, Flapianski, and Checkmates out now. Morning all, 5:30 here in Canada. Well, hopefully you're going to get some more content your way at a reasonable time. Afternoon all from Artel. 11 p.m. tonight. Afternoon all, and afternoon Anton and the chat from Brian. Good to see you. I'm joking. Yeah, we went missing anytime soon. For the thing they're pointing at me. Yep. Chris says, I blame the jersey. We get relegated with the same jersey and it looks rubbish. Jordan, my friend, it does feel like a long time ago at TGI's. Jordan's I think I've known you, Jordan, online as such for years, but we never met all the time. And then we've met a couple of times. And recently we met at after the Man City game, I think it was. Or was it the Man? I can't remember which one it was. And you were out with your family, and as were we, at TGI's having a good meal. So it was really nice to meet you and your partner and the kids. And obviously you got to meet me as well. So thank you for joining us, Jordan. It was really nice to catch up with you as well. But let me get started on today's show, of course. So of the 28 senior players in David Moyes' West Ham squad, as well as defender Harrison Ashby and the trio of Vlasic, Arthur Masuaku, and Nathan Trott, who are all currently out on loan in Europe, only 18 of them are currently in contract for longer than the summer of 2023, with a number of club stalwarts currently into the final years of their deals at the London Stadium. Included in that list are fullbacks Aaron Cresswell and Vladimir Coufal, who have both been regulars under David Moyes, and vice-captain Cresswell, who made his 300th appearance to mark for the club against Silkeborg last week. Argentine midfielder, the little jewel, I'm sorry, Happy Amaret, Lanzini is also on that list. And as our experienced centre-backs, Craig Dawson and Angelo Ogbonna. First choice and third choice keepers Lucas Fabianski and Darren Randolph are also included in that 10, as are Harrison Ashby and Conor Coventry, and of course our loan player Arthur Masuaku, who is currently on loan at Besiktas. And in the cases of Lanzini, Coufal, Fabianski and Coventry, the quartet all have terms on their deals that could lead to an extension of 1 or 2 years being triggered. So let's take a look at the players individually, and first we'll bring up here for you. Let me just sort this out in the background so it's little bit neater and tidier. We're talking about Fabianski to go with. So, of course, he's got one more year left in his contract, but he does have an option of a 1-year extension. He's played 146 games for West Ham with 36 clean sheets. So the question I'm going to ask to you is, and I want this to be an interactive chat, do you offer Fabianski a new contract? Fabianski a new contract at 146 appearances in the club with 36 clean sheets. Now, his reported weekly wage is 70k a week. So what happens then if Fabianski does leave the club? Then we have got Areola, and if Randall leaves the club, then what? We've got Nathan Trott. We're still only really, that means we're kind of stuck in that role. So what do we do? Do we go out and look for another goalkeeper? Do we start that transition this year? Please leave your comments in there and we'll go through them as well. Scott is saying Fabs could still be a backup. Yeah, there's a possibility that that's potentially the position he needs to take at West Ham as well. Ralph is saying, is the devil in the deep blue sea? It's so funny. I'll take an Abby out as well. Where are we? We wait and we could get better, but we could get worse. We do nothing, then we end up with Sean Dyche. Anthos is saying no, let's not offer him one. Jordan is saying no either. Tribs, trigger Fab's extension. No. 1 year as backup for Fabs. Yeah, we need another keeper next season. No, move Fab on. Trigger the extension from Ralph. Only if he agrees to be the second choice goalkeeper. Yeah, give him a year as number 2. No, really split in the chat. We go for a younger goalkeeper. Sorry, but no, we need to move forward with new blood. Look for a new number 1. Wow, so you're not on the Areola camp, I take it then, Peter. Let us know if you're not. Moyes will stick Fornals in goals. Areola should already be the number 1. I'd rather Kevin Nolan in goal than Fabianski. Definitely offer Fab a contract as number 2. Anybody Fornals would still miss a sitter if he played in goal. I'm not sure how he'll make it as a number 1. Do you not think he'll get there? Do you not think he'll get there? I mean, Anang, I think he's broken his arm, hasn't he? He's out on loan to Derby County, but Peter's not a fan of Areola, so it's split in the chat. You know, I can kind of see how he could transition this year if they want to give Areola that spot as number 1. But if not this year, I think we do need a strong number 2 with the experience that he's got for the West Ham side. I think it would be vital for West Ham as well. Areola definitely ain't the world beater. A lot of fans think he is. Rusty B's in the house. We all love a good number 2. Is Trot still in our books? He's out on loan currently. Happy as well. But let's take a look at another player who is up for his situation. Aaron Cresswell. What would you do? Now, the problem with players and all these players that I'm discussing today is if you get rid of all of them, that's 10 players off of our books. You're losing so much experience. And I've got a funny feeling we could all be sitting here going, yeah, get rid. That's you taking out the real strong core of the team. He's been here for years and he understands what West Ham is all about. So what would you do in terms of Cresswell? Let's have a look here and see what his situation is. He has made 301 appearances for the club, scoring 10 goals with 35 assists. Now, for me, he earns approximately 50k a week, but I think he's got a position in our squad. I genuinely believe he's got a position in our squad because I think he suits that middle of the 3 when we go to a back 5. I think he really does suit that, but I'm not saying he has to be a starter. I think he needs to be a transitional player. He knows what it's like to be in and around West Ham. He's been there for years, and I think we can't lose that in the changing room because then you're literally transforming the whole team. And then if we think back to what Nottingham Forest did this year, we're becoming that situation where we're transitioning 18 players. West Ham can't do that. We can't. We need that balance of senior to new, etc. as well. So let me jump into the chat and see what everyone is saying as well. Cress is a good backup right now from Scott. Let's Cress go. And we have Emerson. Yeah, but then where after that as well? Anthos says, love Cressy, but no. Artel says extend. No. Chris is saying no, but Moyes will give him a 5-year extension. Watch. Brian says no contract. Ralph says Cress can do another year. Too old, can't do another year. Sorry. Yes, good servant to the club. Ryan says I would give Cresswell a new deal, but does he want to sign? At his age, I can't see why he wouldn't want to sign. He's become settled down in London as well. Been great, but needs replacing with someone that is quicker. Can see Cresswell moving on. 1 year extension as third choice. We can keep Cressy for our wheelchair 11. But the thing is, though, like having Cresswell on our bench is a good option. You know, another year contract to help transition the players that are there as well. You know, I don't know. Love Cressy, but his time's coming fast. He's losing too much of his previous ability. Cresswell is past his best. If we want to be challenging for the top six, we need to move him on and get rid of Arthur too and let Harrison Ashby play. Well, we'll come on to them in a second. He will go to Everton on a free to move back home. Well, that'll be interesting. Again, split in the chat as well as we move on to Vladimir Coufal, you know, the guy that I've got here in the top behind me. He was been a fantastic servant for West Ham so far, but this season, questionably, has been having his worst time on a West Ham shirt. But what would you do with regards to Coufal? Would you offer him a new contract? Now, for me, I'm not so sure in this one. I'm really not so sure in this one. He's got an option of a 2-year extension. So he's one of the players that I was talking about. He has got an an option of a 2-year extension. It's just whether or not West Ham would want to commit to that. But I think we could be reasonably sorted out there if you've got Kira moving out to the right-hand side, Ben Johnson coming back, who I'll talk about at 5 o'clock in the Hammers headlines. And then you've also got Harrison Ashby, but it's got to take, something's got to give at some point. And I think Vladimir Coufal could be that option as well. Now, we could look to potentially sell him in January, but we know Moyes doesn't do those sort of things. So I wonder what happens, but I wouldn't be surprised if he does try to trigger his extension. He's reportedly earning about 30k a week. So what would you do? Peter saying Coufal can go. Luthers, you're in the house. Good to see you. Thank you, Ian Barron, for joining us as well. Chris says no, very indecisive. Brian Brockett saying yes, offering a contract. Jim Ferguson says no, thanks. Anthos says, dear Lord, no. Every time I hear Cressy, I hear, you know. Alan Dunn, second choice if he wants to stay. Possibly third choice. Alan, to be honest, loves Coufal. Great second choice. Sorry, no to Coufal. Happy Hammerette. Got to run is working, but just a thought. This depends on who is the manager at the end of the season, as I can't see a new bloke in keeping these older players, to be honest. Yep, good point. And enjoy the rest of your day, Happy. Hope you are safe. And make sure you do join us this evening as well for the new show that has been launched, or the rebirth of the Gift of the Gav. Coufal is like a madman. He is like a madman, but he's just really dropped his standards this year, and it's been a shame. Trigger Coufal extension and sell him. Might as well get the money. No, he has run his race for us. Would give the money to Ashby instead. Totally agree, Scott. All depends if we have replacements at day one of the transfer window signed to get integrated before the season starts. Trigger the extension. Coufal is a hammer. Coufal extension for me. Teams needs more cycles like Coufal. Keep them all and change the manager. Why don't you do a poll for all of these? Dabs, it's so tough to be able to do this and control that and do all this. I'd love to do the poll for you, but we need people in the background to be able to run that for us, and it's just sometimes a bit tough to do it all. So I'd love to do it, and we do it a lot, but this is why I'm just trying to be interactive in the chat with you. Toby says trigger his extension and sell him easily. 78 million with a year left. Good squad player. Brian Brockett, we can't let him go for one bad run as Antonio's guy. I get that. But I think we're top heavy on that side. That's why I would potentially look at maybe cashing him in. I love the guy. I think he's extremely loyal. His work rate's really good. But right now it's not working. And I don't want to just sell a player for the sake of that. But with Ben Johnson, with Kira, and potentially Harrison Ashby in the wings, then what does that do for, how do you maintain those players behind you? And if some are better than others, then they need to start taking a step up. And Vladimir Coufal will probably come in laterally into his career, want game time as well. It's just whether or not Moyes sees the same. I think Souček and Coufal have gone backwards ever since Souček contract wrangle this season, all talking to each other, which is lovely. Coufal and Ashby for right back for me as well. So there you go. Let's move on to the next player. The man himself. I'm sorry, Happy. I know you've probably had to nip away, but Lanzini, what would you do with Lanzini? Would you offer Lanzini a new contract or not? put it in the comment section below. Now, the interesting thing is here, he does have an option of a 2-year extension at the club. He's had 210 appearances for the club, scoring 30 goals with 27 assists. Now, my take on the Lanzini situation is that I honestly would probably do a lot to keep him at the club, because when you've got, hear me out here, when you've got a player that's coming over from Argentina who's qualified for the Argentinian squad through his time at West Ham, he lives and breathes West Ham, he understands what West Ham is. I think he needs to, maybe if he understands his role at the club, that's the difference. He needs to be maybe somewhere in the back burner, transitioning out of the club, but there when we need him, because we all know he can turn it on if we need him. Now, I think the issue is, because he's got the option of a 2-year contract extension, does that mean we have to renew it on the basis of the money he's on there? And if we do, then that's a concern. Now, the rumor is that we could be listening to offers for him in January, and if we get a good enough option or money for him, then it'll be interesting to see if we take something for him, let alone the fact at the end of the year. So it will be interesting. He reportedly earns 70k a week as well. Artel's saying release. Peter saying, Lanzini, thanks for your time, but time to leave. Let Lanzini go if he wants. That could be the other issue. He may want to go back home closer to Argentina as well. Lanzini needs to be moved on from Eamon. Scott says, Lanzini was a good servant who got devastating career-changing injury. Good luck in River Plate. Absolutely. Ian Barnes, do you remember Darlington playing West Ham at the early 1970s in the FA Cup? Thanks. I don't think I do. Thanks for the memories, Lanzini, but time to go from Toby. Jim says, no, he is past it. Have to keep him for his penalties at the moment. Gordon Buchanan, Lanzini, not had a good game since Arnie left. Well, I don't know, Gordon. I think he has had some good games, particularly last season when he stepped up, went to the plate when no one expected him. Alan, my favourite player, but time to let him go and finish his career at home club like he wants to do. Green Street Elites, extend, definitely. He'll still be very skillful. That is a great impact sub. Keep him if he brings his form back. Andy is in the house. I'd keep him for another year. Adds depth to our squad. Eamon, unfortunately, some of these players ain't top 6 level anymore. They are too old and slow. Peter says, can Lanzini leave the corned beef tin? Keep Lanzini. Love the guy from Anthos. A transitional role would be ideal. Yeah, I think that could be something that I think it's just now down to whether or not he is off skate. Like, he wants to go. I think that's the biggest decision, Martin, really it comes down to. Let's move on, though, because we've got loads more players to talk about. Ballon Dawson, rumored to be leaving the club back in the window, wants to move closer to his family, but has shown how important he can be to the squad when he comes in and steps in. And when people doubt him, he steps up to the plate. Now, I am calling for Dawson to be reinstated into the starting 11 to play alongside Zuma, to push Kira out to the right-hand side until Aguerd comes back from fitness. So for me, I would want to offer Dawson a contract. It's just whether or not he'd be willing to stay. The rumor is that he is off and he doesn't want to stay, but it's not because of West Ham. It's because of his family life. But what would you like and like preferably like to happen with Craig Dawson? In his West Ham career, he's had 76 appearances, scored 9 goals with 2 assists as well, reportedly earning 42.5k per week. So let's take a look and see what everyone else is saying in the chat. Damien says, good afternoon, all hammers. Anton, I really want to see Ashby in our first team. We desperately need pace in that side, plus show we believe in our youth players. Damien, I completely agree with you, and we'll come on to Ashby in a second. Dawson's a great servant. Let him go home. Let him go from Brian. He's been a good servant to our club. Damien gives you the thumbs up. Dawson is off. We all know it, but thanks for proving so many wrong. 100%. Will be a sad day when Dawson leaves, but we need to let him leave. A new 3-year contract. It's absolutely. Family comes first, and if we keep him, he will be resentful. I hear the Welsh of the... Oh, God, what's going on here? I'm not reading these things out in case I get into trouble. A good old school centre-half, but I think he'll decide to move on in January. Luthers love Dawson, but he deserves to be happy with his family, but would love him to stay if he wants. What an opportunity now. What an opportunity to put Dawson into the side, to give him that limelight. Because it's not just giving him the limelight. I actually think West Ham need Dawson in the starting 11 to play alongside Zuma, pushing Kira out to the right. It's that until we get a fully fit Aguerd back into the team. Hi all, what's happening with Dawson? Isn't he off in January? Yep, it looks probably like he will be. Quality signings for Peanuts from Watford. Be good to make him happy and give him a 2-year deal. Dabs, if Dawson was 10 years younger, I'd be in the England squad. Artel says release. Scott says if Dawson would stay, I would make him captain. Big Dawson only to go if he wants to go. Green Street Elites, Dawson is the only terrific defender, goal scoring, genuinely nice guy. He deserves to be with his family. Let him go. Thanks for your service, Craig. Let Dawson go. He deserves his move. Dawson is a ball magnet, blocks 99.9% of the opportunities. I completely agree with you as well. Let's move on to Angelo Ogbonna, who was given a 1-year extension this year, and he is into his final year at West Ham. Now, what would you do with this man? He's been, for me, when he first came to the club, he struggled in his time at the club, but he became like an Italian fine wine and he grew into his position. Would you offer Ogbonna a new contract? That's the question. Let's put it in the chat there. But what will West Ham do? He's played 207 games for us. He's scored 13 goals with 1 assist. He currently earns 70k a week. So is he going to stay? Is he going to go? What does West Ham want to do with him? For me personally, I think, thank you very much. Appreciate the time. You've grew into your West Ham career and you've made it one of your own positions. But with that big injury and your age on the wrong side, I think the transition of Ogbonna at the club, it's now time to go. So thank you for your service. Ryan agrees. Augie needs to go. Augie can see out his contract from Troj. Sorry, Augie, can't get another deal. Thanks again for your service. Maybe a coaching role. Yeah, I think, do you know what? Really important to be in and around the squad. Again, coming from a international country, understanding everything about West Ham, making that position your own for the several years that you did. Definitely one that we should keep around in and around the squad. One that can go for me, but in our coaching role, he deserves that. Side note to the Moyes out crowd, how important was the signing of Dawson? Augie, 1 more year as backup. Gordon, there you go. Love this guy. Keep him for 1 more year to keep Skamaka happy and company. Defensive coach in the making. Green Street Elites, Augie is always firm favourite with us guys, but his age limits his ability now. He's got to go. Another voice in the dressing room which needs to be replaced. Augie goes into coaching staff. 70k. Like I said, it's all reported. It's really tough to get the actual facts and figures out there, but it's what it's reported. We'd give him another year if he wants to stay, but it's up to him and Moyes. Augie, keep him as an expensive mascot. I think he'd probably do really good there as well. Glenn, Augie would make an awesome coach. He would. Artel, everyone agrees he's in a coaching role. Eamon says Ogbonna depends on if he can still perform to the standard before his injury. Randolph is next, our third choice goalkeeper. I think he was rumoured to be heading out the door in the last 2 transfer windows, but I think it's time that Randolph needs to go and maybe let the step up of Nathan Trott. I mean, Nathan Trott could find himself being West Ham's number 2 next season. Depends on what happens with Fabianski. So what would you do with Randolph? Would you offer him a new contract, or is that even a ridiculous question? Randolph, a new contract. It's not a contractor, it's a contract. So in his West Ham career over 2 spells, he's had 52 appearances at the club with 15 clean sheets, reportedly earning 41k a week as well. See you, Darren. Go for me. Ralph, go for me. Randolph has been a great servant, stepped when needed, new keeper coach. I don't know about the new keeper coach, to be honest. I think it's time for him to potentially leave the club. I think he was a good servant his first spell. He's not really done anything the next time as well. Bye-bye, thanks, but bye. Randolph needs to go and find himself some football. See you, Darren. Definitely go 100%. Not being good when he stepped in. No. From Anthos, release from Artel. Take care, Randolph. Pretty loyal bloke, I think. It was wrong to bring Mr. Burt back in the first place. Randolph, the player with the most bench appearances, not good enough to start. Bye-bye now. Thanks for your service. But are we losing too many voices in the squad? This is why I don't think all of these players will leave as well. So let's move on, because I knew that one would be a quick one. Harrison Ashby, topic of conversation. We are trying to get the guy to sign a new contract. It's just whether or not he will sign the contract. Would you offer Ashby a new contract? The problem we find ourselves in, though, is that he's into his final year of his contract with West Ham. He has made 6 senior appearances, 36 under 23 appearances, 3 goals, 9 assists as well. Reportedly, Now, I don't know how this works, but because he's on the kind of the youth wages, it reportedly is on £300 a week. And that's maybe why we need to try and, get him up there. But for me, he is the future of West Ham at the right back position. And I think we need to really snap him up and start to give this lad an opportunity in the first team. I'm pretty adamant everyone's going to agree with this one. He wants to leave. Bye-bye. I mean, that's interesting if he does want to leave. But then, do you blame him, Scott, if he's not going to get first team games? I mean, he wants to progress his career and try his best. And if he's not going to get the opportunity at West Ham, then where else is he going to get it from as well? Ludder says we'd keep him as a squad player, but he needs to play to get him international place. I think you're talking about Randolph there, sorry. Gordon says on Ashby, break the bank. Unfortunately, I think Ashby's head and heart has been turned by Arsenal. Have to keep this lad. He is our future. Lock him down. With a lifetime contract, he's bloody mustard. Ashby, 100%. Stay if Moyes doesn't play him. The fans will be seriously peed off. Doesn't like Moyes, but keep if we can. Definitely, and promise him at least that he'll get a battling Coufal for the position. If he was sent on loan earlier, we could have got a Diangana type fee for him. Keep for sure. But I think he will go. Love Ashby to sign a new contract, but he is off. Needs to be offered a sensible contract. He wants out. I think with Moyes, it would never work. Flip me. We have to slave away for 11th third choice keeper on 41k a week. Keep him, Anthos. Ashby and Downs are integral to our future from Glenn. Scott, question, why isn't Ashby playing? What do the coaching staff know? Well, do you know what? I don't think it really is anything, to be honest. I think there's an element of you've got Coufal, you've got Ben Johnson, you've got all these players, and they're the first team. And with respect to Moyes, there is an element of stubbornness with the youth players. He doesn't tend to give the youth players a huge amount of chance as well. Best potential right back. Need to give him a contract, but not on ridiculous wages. So there you go. There's the Harrison Ashby situation. Let's move on to Conor Coventry. Would you offer Conor Coventry a new contract? Would you offer Coventry a new contract? Now, the thing with Conor Coventry is fair play to him. Fair play to Coventry for being for sticking around at West Ham. That's the main thing here. He's sticking around at West Ham. He's wanting to prove his worth. And I think there is a player in there, but it's just about when and how is he going to find his opportunity. Now, if Souček keeps performing the way he does, which isn't great just now, Coventry then brings himself up into the mix between Rice and Downs. And then you've got Coventry. We've not got anyone else in the midst of that position. And then next year, if Rice does leave the club, I just wouldn't be surprised if we keep Coventry in and around the squad, and he'll probably find himself getting some game time moving forward. Join me at 5 o'clock for the Hammers headlines, where I'll go into more discussion about things like Declan Rice, etc. But it'll be interesting. But I wouldn't be surprised if we actually do look at keeping him in and around the squad. He's had 7 senior appearances, 73 under 23 appearances, 10 goals for them with 5 assists as well, reportedly earning about 5k a week. Getting rid of Reece Oxford has done lasting damage. Peter says let Coventry go as Moyes won't play him. Coventry, yes, keep him, plays for the shirt. Phil says Moyes is too close to all these players. The top clubs have a director of football. It's time we had one to sort these issues. Let Moyes concentrate on coaching. Lifetime contract. Again, no, I think there is better out there, but the problem is we don't have better out there. So if Rice does go in the summer, then we're left with Tommy Souček, who could, who's not having the best of seasons with West Ham, Conor Coventry and Flynn Downs as well. Another one that is awkward with Moyes around, unfortunately. Sorry, he is a decent lad, but not Prem level and is not good as Downs. Coventry needs to be kept for the future. Eamon says Coventry needs to move on for his football career. He will waste that away under Moyes due to the lack of games. Alan says he could have left a few times, but still here, so I would keep, as this is where he wants to be. Loyalty goes both ways. Coventry is battling with Downs for a game. Personally feel Downs just tips the scale. Anthos, yes, as long as Moyes plays him, get rid of Moyes instead. There you go. There you go. Everyone's put their opinion in there of Conor Coventry. Last but not least, though, is this man. Yes, he is still a West Ham player. He is out on loan to Besiktas, but Arthur Masuaku. I mean, what's interesting is we didn't sell him. He is out on loan, but we didn't sell him. Would you offer Masuaku a new contract? Oh, I can't wait to see the comments in this. I cannot see the comments in this one. Would you offer Masuaku a new contract. Let's see what everyone is saying. This one, 128 appearances for West Ham, 2 goals with 11 assists in his West Ham career, reportedly earning 40k a week, having a reasonable time over at Besiktas in Turkey, got 2 assists already in his career out there. But what would you do? Would you consider giving him an opportunity again at West Ham? Masuaku, let the king go. Let him go. Bill Clark says, bye-bye, Arthur. Leave him in Turkey. No thanks. Defensively shocking. Why am I asking whether to keep Arthur? Well, he is still a West Ham player, so he is only on loan to Besiktas, so he is one of the players that's in that mix of it as well. I'm asking because I want to give you your opinion, Peter. I am a no, obviously, but it's not. He's not one for me. Arthur, no. Burn my eyes out if he gets a contract. Masood doing well abroad. Let him stay there. He is, absolutely. Bye-bye, Arthur. Come on, Trosh. I know. Shocking. I know. Arthur must not be sold permanently. It would devastate some. It would. The Chelsea goal, new contract. Yeah, I see some people saying that. Trosh, give him another 6-year deal. God, here we go. Sell or just get rid of Turkey. In Turkey, you never know. I mean, listen, the situation could be that even though he's on loan, they could try and make the deal permanent in January, where West Ham could, you know, if he has a good time at Besiktas, West Ham could be in a really good contract position to negotiate with Besiktas to say, you know what, sign him on the contract, take him now, give us a fee, and then he's all yours. And that's something we could obviously look at doing as well. So there you go. There's the 10 players. God, look at the state of my hair. I've had a chance to tidy it up. But there's the 10 players that we've been talking about potentially out of contract for West Ham. And what does that mean? They're in the final 12 months. What does that mean for West Ham? I don't see all of those 10 players leaving West Ham because that is a huge transition we would need to make, especially after bringing all the players that brought in that we did. So we need to keep some of those old school, proper West Ham voices in that changing room to help with that transition of the squad. Potentially players like Cresswell has to stay in and around there. Conor Coventry has to stay in and around there. But I say arrivederci to Darren Randolph and Arthur Masuaku, just to name a few. But listen, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure. 5 o'clock, I've got the Hammers headlines where I talk about other players in the squad just now. 11 o'clock tonight, Gift of the Gab returns with 2 new presenters, Budgie and Kieran. You'll enjoy it. Good laugh. Anything goes. That's the whole point of the Gift of the Gab. Anything goes. So make sure you do join the lads out there as well. If you are new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, of course. Hit the subscription button, hit the bell notification. That will notify when our shows go live. If you're interested in becoming a channel member, you can also do that as well. Loads of stuff coming your way. But listen, thank you very much for joining me. Thank you for participating in the chat. Interesting to see what everyone's opinion is of the players. But join me at 5 o'clock and I'll talk about some players that could be leaving, but for fees as well. And as we like to do, we like to thank all the members for joining us. Thank you. Take it easy. Stay safe. Come on, your irons.
It's like a family tree, part of you and part of